Hi, welcome to Punchline Talks the Business Breakfast Briefers. I'm Mark Owen, and each week I invite a panel of business experts to review the morning newspapers, find out what's happened in their own individual businesses, their own individual business sectors, and finally, what's caught their eye in this week's Punchline. But before I start, I just want to thank our fantastic sponsors, Hazelwood's Accountants and Business Advisors. Okay, let's meet the panel. We've got Lynette Barrett. She's the CEO of Gloucestershire-based charity National Star, which supports young people with complex disabilities. National Star has an average turnover of around £50 million, employs 1,300 full and part-time staff. So we'll find out about phase two of Ullenwood and also what's coming down the tracks for the charity. We've got David Morton. He's a headmaster of King's School in Gloucester. The school currently has 725 pupils, 230 staff and a turnover of 13.5 million. We all know the government put that on the last budget 20% increase on VAT in schools. So we'll hear from David how it's affected the school and the overall sectors, and of course the latest news from King's School as well. So thanks for coming on the show, David. We got Sam Tomkins, owner of the Great Coffee Company, a mobile, eco-friendly barista coffee service in Gloucestershire. They specialise in visiting workplace Monday to Friday, operating on an on-site cafe with flexible service options available for the hour, half a day, or full day. The company was started just this January and employs Tom. So Sam, sorry, I don't know who Tom is. Sam, I've got Tom on the brain now. So we'll find out all about it. So I'm looking forward to that, Sam. And we've got Mark Powell, Managing Director of RRA Architects based in Cheltenham. It was formed in 1986, employs 14 staff with a turnover of £1 million. It has a fantastic reputation as a highly innovative architectural practice. So we'll find out more about the business and also about the marketplace itself. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. Okay, let's see what's making the headlines today from the national papers. And I swatched the screens round. No, that's not the papers. Here we go. Courtesy of the BBC. The Sun. US troops to stop the boats, says Trump. The Metro. Checkers mates. The Daily Express. Keir given some home truths by Donald. The Financial Times. Call out the military to stop illegal immigrants. Trump urges Starmer. The Daily Mail. Trump shows PM who's boss. The Guardian. Use the military to stop the Channel crossing. Trump tells Starmer. The Mirror. Thank goodness that's over. Whew, I think we all feel the same. The Times. Immigration is destroying the UK. Trump tells Starmer. The Eye. Trump urges Starmer use the military to stop the migrant boats. Send in the military to stop the boats, said the Daily Telegraph. And the Daily Star. Putin's let me down. Okay, that's the headlines there. Okay, let's go to David. David, what have you picked out for the papers today, please?
Good morning. I was caught by an article in the newspaper yesterday, which was talking about wealth of billionaires around the world. And it said that Elon Musk had dropped from his first position. He's been overtaken by Larry Ellison, who runs Oracle. And I think this is interesting for a couple of reasons. Firstly, we don't want to get into the politics of it too much, but I think the way you lead your business is important these days. And I think people leading with integrity is what we need to see globally as well as in our local area. So I think Elon Musk has seen a bit of an impact of some of the things that he's been saying and doing, and shares in Tesla have dropped 13%, it says. So he's lost quite a bit of his personal wealth. But more interesting, perhaps, is the fact that Larry Ellison at Oracle is showing the rise of AI inexorably in our world, and cloud computing, which is what they offer. So his value has now risen, his personal value, to $393 billion. So he's doing all right for himself. Sam will be there, I'm sure, in a couple of years' time. But at the moment, it's Larry Ellison is out ahead. And they work with Google. They've had some big new contracts with Microsoft. And this is the way of the world, isn't it? We're all starting to use AI, and they are the guys behind that.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I actually tapped in AI for Sam this morning, and I'll be honest with you, Sam, it didn't come up with very much. As in, it doesn't work sometimes. That's the whole thing about AI, and I really don't think it should be used in the media, but that's my own thing. Anyway, thanks ever so much. That's, by the way, I didn't mean to pick on you, by the way, Sam. Lynette, if what have you picked out for the papers, please?
So I've seen in the papers that actually Marks and Spencer seem to be having an upturn, and they're taking the lead in the market for work gear. So they have had an 8% increase in their sales. Apparently, they sold over 500,000 of men's suits up to the April. So, yeah, it looks like that's good news for Marks and Spencers because obviously they've struggled over the last few years. I think it's about people wanting flexible, smart, casual sort of workwear that they can also use for weekends and occasions, etc. So, yeah, they're turning to Marks and Spencers for that instead of places like Zara, which normally are sort of the go-to place.
Do you think it's because more people are going back to the office as well?
Yeah, quite possibly. I think so. I think, more and more there are people that are, at least in the office 2 or 3 days a week now, isn't there? So that is definitely the case. But I think what the article is saying is it's people are buying that sort of workwear, but they're using it at weekends and for occasions as well. So I guess that's about trying to save a few quid, isn't it? And making sure that they can buy one outfit and use it for 2 or 3 different purposes.
Yeah, no, it seems to make sense. I actually like
Yeah,
Marks and Spencers myself, but
very good quality.
thanks ever so much. Okay, Sam, what have you picked out for us, please?
Yeah, so I scoured the papers and I struggled to find anything really. It was all doom and gloom. So I've gone with a good news story. So there's a grandfather from the Stroud area who's raising money for his granddaughter who has special needs. He's 72 years old and he's run an
Wow.
average of 18 miles for a week, totaling 125 miles. His initial target was £2,000, and he's raised over £7,000 towards a new playground for a special school. So I just thought, need a bit of good news in the world at the moment, and that's a good story.
That's a fantastic story, isn't it? And I think that's the Stroud News and Journal, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah.
And that's what the local media is really good at covering, those sort of little kind of interesting stories that make the world go round. Thanks ever so much for that, Sam. Mark, welcome to the show. What have you picked out for us, please?
So I've picked out a story from the Times, and basically the new chair of the Climate Change Committee, Nigel Topping, the government has got a target of 600,000 heat pumps to be installed by 2029. Currently, this year, they've only installed 60,000. So, of course, that's not even 10% of their target. And I can't quite see how they're going to get anywhere close to that. A heat pump is about 3 or 4 times more expensive than your traditional gas boiler. And there is a grant of £7,500 a year each in the UK to contribute to replacing or installing a heat pump, but that's not enough to convince the British public to convert.
Well, they're that expensive, and I suppose when you're designing and planning and doing architecture for a house, you must design it including it,
We
isn't it?
do. So new builds, we look at ground source heat pumps, air source heat pumps, putting PV panels on the roof. But when we're retrofitting, yes, we always try and encourage them, but it is the cost factor. And with the cost of living, £7,500 grant, it doesn't get close to the extra it's still going to cost you compared to the gas boiler.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Mark. Great story. Okay, let's go over to you, David. Let's talk about King's School, if that's okay. Wow, you had some fantastic results as well, didn't you, for the A levels and O levels, GCSEs?
Yeah, we were really pleased. We do BTEC as well in sport. So in the A levels and BTEC, I think we had just over 50% of all the pupils got the top grades, the A's and the A stars. So that was fantastic for them. And in the GCSEs, it was well over 50% of everyone got the sevens, eights, and nines that are now the equivalent of the A stars and A's. So when more than half of your cohort are getting the very top results, we're not a hugely academically selective school compared to some of the local grammars, and we're really proud of how the pupils did. So that was great over the summer. We had a sports tour that went out to Malaysia and Singapore, so the pupils got to enjoy playing alongside friends, peers from other countries. But this year is now we've just kicked off 3 weeks ago, as term started, it's our 485th birthday. So it's going to be a big year of celebrations. The school was founded in 1541, and it's been a charity and obviously a business employing 200 people, as you said, and that's been going ever since. Henry VIII found the school. I'm the 39th headmaster in that time, so it's a pretty significant player in the local market as a business, but also as a charity and in the educational sector too. So we've got lots of celebrations coming up, and hoping to see plenty of people coming around the school in the year ahead.
It looks like we don't mind me saying you haven't been that affected from the rise of the VAT. I know we talked about it quite a lot. Is that the case for you?
Well, I think we've worked really hard to make sure that it hasn't had a catastrophic impact that it is having in some schools. So people will have seen in the news, I think over 50 independent schools have now closed down since that was introduced, and I'm sure, sadly, others will go in the years ahead. But at King's, we've got a strong reputation. We've won some awards. Our academic results are improving. So our pupil roll has kind of leveled off. It's not rising anymore, but it's also not significantly decreasing.
Okay, thanks ever so much for that, David. As you know, I'm a big fan of King's School, and our daughter Hannah went there as well.
She
Can't
did.
say, can't give a better testimonial than that at the end of the day. And she is a teacher. Okay, thanks ever so much for that, Dave. Lynette, let's bring you in. National Star.
Yeah.
Obviously, you always think people know everything about National Star, but let's be honest, they don't. Can you just give us an overview on it? And I'll try and bring up on screen
Yeah.
your website as well.
So we are National Star delivers specialist education to young people with complex disabilities aged 16 to 25. We have a real wide breadth of programs that meet needs of young people that are looking to go into paid employment, and through to those that are looking just to how they can make a contribution to their local communities and society. We also offer long-term accommodation and care for people with complex disability, respite services. We offer therapy, so people can just come and have an hour of speech and language therapy with us, and a host of other services as well. And although we're predominantly based in Gloucestershire, that's our largest campus, our original campus. That next year we're looking at celebrating our 60th anniversary as a charity. We're also based in Herefordshire, Worcestershire, Wales, and offer services in other parts of the country as well, working in partnership with various local authorities, and also based at Heart of Worcester, GFE as well. So it's a really expanding charity, and we're looking at making sure that whatever expansion happens and whatever growth happens in the future, that it's done in a really considered way. We're entering into even more uncertain, I didn't think it was possible, but even more uncertain times for young people with SEND than ever before. We're looking at the moment at our Ullenwood campus here in Gloucestershire, and wanting to look at phase 2 of that development. We still have some planning on that site, and we want to be able to utilise that planning and make sure that we're developing something that is fit for purpose for decades to come, not just for the here and now. And that's really complex in determining, who will be the students of National Star in 10, 15, 20 years. We understand the pressure in the system financially for all the various local authorities. But for us, our focus is there are thousands of young people with disabilities across the country that absolutely have the right to good quality education. And we want to be able to enable that to happen through whatever means. And whether that is direct delivery from National Star itself, or working in partnership with other providers, offering training, consultancy to people that work with children and young people with SEND, and various other things, because we recognise at Star that we can't impact every child and young person's experience of education and care that has complex disabilities, but we can work with lots of other people that also have that opportunity to support them.
We do an absolutely fantastic job. I've got to ask you, the A417, right on your doorstep, what kind of has it been an absolute nightmare?
Do you know, actually, I have to say, they've worked really hard to try and make sure that it's not been a nightmare. at the worst time of day, most definitely, is coming if you're coming from the Cheltenham or Oxford area in the evening. That is a nightmare. So my commute home is a lot longer than it used to be because I sit there for about 40 minutes and do very little distance.
I was going to say there's an awful lot of podcasts being played at that particular time, I would
Hopefully,
imagine.
it's a means to an end, though. That road's been needed for years. So, only another couple of years to go.
Yeah, and a couple more £1 billion. Okay, thanks ever so much for that, Lynette. Hey, let's bring you in, Sam. So you started the business a year ago. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going really well. So we've got quite a few businesses on board now that we go to on a weekly basis. So yeah,
Can you
so
tell
far
us?
so good.
Can you tell us all a bit more about the actual business itself? So let me just bring it up on screen if I can. Hold on a second. I've got to try and find you. Oh, sorry. There we go. So you have your own little Bista van.
Yeah, so it's a bistro trailer. So it's all run off batteries and gas. So eco-friendly. Our packaging is eco-friendly as well. So we try and make it as easy as possible for businesses. So we turn up, no wires or anything. It's literally turn up, serve coffee and go again. Um, and we concentrate on Gloucestershire businesses, large offices, small business parks, anybody who wants coffee really without having to walk into town or a lot of these places are in the middle of nowhere. So people, yeah, seem to really get on board with it.
It's quite funny, because a lot of people don't realise there's 128 business parks and trading estates actually in Gloucestershire. I've been to every single one of them. So you have a great opportunity, and you are right. A lot of them are in the sticks. There's nothing else there.
Exactly, yeah. And there are like little mobile sandwich vans and stuff that go around. How we differ from them is we concentrate on coffee is our main seller. We're passionate about coffee, so we make sure every cup is how I'd want to drink it myself. So that's our main selling point. We do sell sandwiches and other stuff as well. But how we differ as well slightly is these drive-by vans will just stay for like 10, 15 minutes. Normally people book us for an hour a week. So it gives everybody, people in meetings, people on calls, it gives them the chance to come out. And we see the same faces from the same businesses each week. And we're growing quite a good community actually. It's really nice.
Okay, and are you first of all, what did you do beforehand, and why? Why do this?
Yeah, so I've done like a little Instagram post actually from cars to coffee. So I was director of a car sales company before, Cleve Motor Company over in Tewkesbury. So that's what I've done for the past 8 years, selling cars. And to be honest, I just got bored of it. I just fancied something completely different. And yeah, I thought when I've been sat in offices, I didn't have access to good, great coffee. So that's how the idea was born. But yeah, completely different to what I was doing before.
Okay, it must be just liberating not being at the same garage every day, driving around all over the place, and but tough. I would imagine it's quite a tough business to be in.
Yeah, it is to be fair. It's growing slowly, but it's growing. But yeah, really enjoying it.
God, good stuff. Thanks ever so much. And right, okay, let's bring you in, Mark. Can you tell us a little bit more about our architects? I've often wondered actually, what does RR stand for?
Yeah, so basically, this company was set up in 1986 by a guy called Rod Robinson. So it stood for Rod Robinson Associates.
Ah, right.
And I joined in 1995. So I celebrated my 30 years in the business this year, and next year is RA's 40th anniversary. So we'll be celebrating that. So yeah, that's where the name comes from because it's a bit of a mouthful.
Because you all do all sorts of different projects as well. Let's bring up your projects here. Can you all see the screen here?
Yeah. So yeah, we do all sorts of sectors. We're probably best known for doing high-end residential schemes for domestic clients and also bespoke property developers. So we don't work for the national house builders, but we work for developers who do usually between 1 and 14 houses, where they're a bit more bespoke for that higher end market.
And what's the marketplace at the moment like? Because I hear the housing market, especially top end, is actually slowing down a little bit.
It is certainly in Cheltenham, even though Cheltenham is a very desirable place to live and probably outperforms most parts of the country. The estate agents are informing properties certainly over the 1.5, £2 million bracket are staying. That's because mortgage rates are still high. The Bank of England didn't drop them again yesterday because of inflation being high, and the market isn't that stable. So people are kind of staying put a little bit, and but that's also quite good for us because people who don't want to move, they want to extend and refurbish their property, which we also do quite a lot of work doing.
And is there a sort of new product or anything in particular that's changed over the last couple of years that's been a sort of a game changer in the
Um,
architectural world?
Obviously, the environmental aspects still are. People do want to be green, not only just ethically, but also because of the sheer cost of energy bills. So yeah, that's been quite high on the agenda for the last 5 years. People also want a bit more of a lock up and go style property. People, in their more golden age, 60s plus, want to go on holiday for long periods of time. So maintenance free properties that you don't have to have such big gardens. Also multi-generational living. So a normal family now, the kids come back for university, so they want a home annex. Also older parents coming back to live. So houses that are a lot more flexible for adapting to the modern family's needs.
Is that also because, the price of houses themselves, for a younger person to get in the housing market is very difficult. So a lot more students are coming back and not moving out. So they live with their parents till they're like 30 or something.
Of course, yeah. The average house price in the UK is £370,000. And certainly in Gloucestershire, a start home would, a two-bed house would be more like 150, 160,000. And that's not even in the probably most desirable areas. And also rents are ridiculously expensive. People spending 40, 50% of their salary on rental costs, and that's before your energy bills and social life and repaying student debt. So yeah, people are living at home longer.
Okay, thanks ever so much. Well, I'm going to open up to the panel now. Has anybody else got a question for each one of you?
I've got a question for David. I saw in the Times now for the first time, Oxford and Cambridge are out of the top three of UK universities. And is that a good thing?
I bet that depends on your perspective a little bit. I always say that it's more important that the student finds the right place for them rather than that they go along a league table. And Oxford and Cambridge have got an amazing reputation. They do incredible research, but it also depends on how the league tables are made up. And it's not something that most head teachers are terribly keen on, a league table, because as we all know, you can adjust the statistics and you can move yourself up and down the league table if you want to. So they're still fantastic universities, but our advice to our pupils is always to find what you love, follow that, and it might be that you go somewhere very different, like a Bangor, a Brunel, Aberystwyth. There are some fantastic courses out there, and we try not to get them too hooked on the kind of the Russell Group universities as they're known, and those top kind of couple as well.
I feel I've visited all those universities, by the way, that you just spoke about when my kids were looking into it, as we all done. Okay, anybody got a question for anybody else?
I was going to ask Lynette if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lynette, obviously, we're both educational charities, aren't we? Working with young people in the area. Do you have volunteers who come in and work, or does everyone have to be specially trained to work with your young adults who have quite specialist needs?
So that is the majority of that's our workforce, but we've got lots of volunteers that do various work for us, and we also in various ways. So some of it is direct. We're working with the National Trust at the moment to do a big plantation of wildflowers with our students. They're volunteering their time to come in and to do that work. So we've got lots of different partnerships. We've got volunteers that work in all of our charity shops. as well, which we've got in Gloucestershire and in Hereford as well. So there's lots of different volunteering opportunities. So yeah, if any of your pupils would like to come our way, then absolutely, really happy to do that. And we often have schools come in and we go into schools as well to do disability awareness. So beneficial. Yeah, we're just looking at where we locate one of our pathways, which is our work outcomes pathway at the moment. And I can't say too much because the deal's not across the line, but it's with a very significant higher education provider, and it will be really beneficial for our students and their students to be learning in a similar location.
Okay, fantastic. Very quickly, last question. I'm going to give this back over to Sam. Sam, how much is a cup of coffee, please?
Flat white, £3.20, so a lot cheaper than Starbucks in Gloucester, and a lot nicer.
Okay, and a cappuccino, same price?
£3.40.
Okay, I'm very partial to a cappuccino. And do you put chocolate on the top of it? Because the one thing I hate with a cappuccino, they don't put any chocolate on the top. It's very
I always
important
ask
to me.
people.
Thanks very much. Well, those are my questions anyway. Unfortunately, that's where we got time for. We're going to go to the pick of the punchlines now. David, I'm going to start with you. What have you picked out for the pick of the punchlines, please?
I was really pleased to see that King Square is going to come alive tomorrow, Saturday morning, with a refresh event. So it's designed to connect young people with a whole range of different opportunities, volunteering, work, their local community, getting them out and about and helping them to find new things to do. And I think that's a really positive, good news story as part of that King Square redevelopment. And it's brilliant to see it coming to life now every weekend around the corner from King's.
It's fantastic, isn't it? It's great to see the kids all playing in the fountains and stuff. It's exactly what it was designed for. It's really getting there. It's quite exciting, I feel. Okay, Lynette, thanks for that, David. Lynette, what have you picked out from the pick of the punchlines, please?
So I was just had a lot of empathy and sympathy for Cirencester College that and their principal CEO Matt Reynolds that unfortunately this week had a threat made towards the college, which meant that Cirencester College had to go into lockdown. Fortunately, the threat, I think, was a hoax, but the principal and CEO there was really complimentary about the students, the parents, and the police and how everybody responded. It's a sad fact in today's times, isn't it, that we have to take these threats, these threats happen and we have to act on them seriously to make sure that the young people that we work with and support are protected. I would imagine it was probably a very stressful and frightening day, but apparently they managed it incredibly well and had the fortunate aspect that it was a hox. These
Okay, no,
lockdown
it's,
procedures are not easy to put in place and not easy to write, let alone actually implement.
yeah, I wouldn't imagine, David, I would imagine you've got the same type of thing. Okay, Sam, what have you picked out for the punchlines, please?
So I've picked out the launch of the Stonehouse Habitat Bank near Stroud again. So anything where nature's being recovered, I think is a great thing. And it's close to a Gloucester wildlife site as well. So my two children, 8 and 3, we've got them enrolled in the Gloucestershire wildlife scheme as well. So anything nature and rewilding, I think is a great thing.
I totally agree with you. Lots of nodding there as well from everybody I can see. Thanks ever so much for that. And finally, Mark, what's your pick of the punchlines this week?
It's your story about a building owner in Tewkesbury who's got a property in Church Street off the High Street and getting planning and listed build consent to convert the redundant space on the first and second floor into 3 apartments. Obviously, we should be encouraging the use of the upper floors of our high street because they are dying. Most of these buildings have got their upper stores as just storage or vacant, and the more people we can get living in the town centres will improve the 24-hour economy of our high streets and basically be improving the general built environment.
I mean, the big problem with streets putting houses in shops is the staircases, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
obviously you have the shop front and trying to make that work as well. So I
yeah.
can see the
It's very
complexities.
difficult, especially in heritage buildings, but there are ways to do it, and we're specialists at doing it as well.
Good pitch, mate. Good pitch. Okay, well, that's all we've got time for today. I'd just like to thank our fantastic panel, wonderful guests. A massive, massive thank you to Hazelwood's Accountants and Business Advisors as our sponsors, and also a big thank you to all of you watching. If you like the show, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, we'll be back again next week. But until then, remember, it's all in the punchline. Thanks ever so much for joining us. Bye.